Shalom. You know, we're in this weird time of the year as we have just said goodbye to Hanukkah, where we have the beginning of a new month of Tevet, and we're approaching, I guess, this new year thing, but we did that already. Didn't we do that? Didn't we have this space was filled, our sanctuaries filled? We already did this. So in Israel, it's really interesting. They will call, instead of calling it New Year's, they'll call it Sylvester in honor of Sylvester Mass. As so the way of saying, oh, well, we're not calling it New Year's for why we're taking it off and having a party, but yeah, Sylvester, yeah. So whether we're saying Happy Sylvester or Happy New Year's, I'm getting some people looking at me like I have four heads, but really you can look this up. It was a funny thing, and people had their parties and, you know, watched the fireworks around the world and didn't quite call it New Year's. We can call it a new year for us. And it is our hope, and we will go through our prayers as we do with every Shabbat, but it is our hope that our new year will be full of health and joy and togetherness. We are luckily having a little more warmth outside, but I know it'll be full of warmth in here. As we continue with lighting our Shabbat candles, we're on pages 2 and 3 of our prayer book. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Continuing on pages 20 and 21 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat lekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat. Likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha. B'malcha Shabbat tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Bo'i v'shalom ateret balha likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Welcome Shabbat with song and light. Let's all now turn to our neighbors. Let's all wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Special Shabbat Shalom, everyone who's tuning in and participating over our live stream. Shabbat Shalom. For those who are able, we rise on page 28 for Baruch Hu. Page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change. And within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Top of 33, let's read together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha vidibarta bam bishivtecha bevetecha uvelechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot ayadecha vihayut letotafot bein einecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Top of 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai. Mi chamocha ba'edim Adonai, mi kamocha netar v'kodesh, norati lo tosefele, osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Hayam lifnei Moshe, Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zezeli anu ve'amiru, Adonai imloch le'olam le'olam va'ed. Yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai. Ne'emar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 42. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. U'shmor tzeteinu v'ha'amidenu shomreinu והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Page 44. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום היום השביעי שבת וינבש, וביום השביעי Continue on page 46 with our tefillah. For those who are able, please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasadei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Page 51, we'll read responsively. We pray that we might know before whom we stand, the power whose gift is life, who quickens those who have forgotten how to live. We pray for the winds to disperse the choking air of sadness, for cleansing rains to make parched hopes flower, and to give all of us the strength to rise up toward the sun. We pray for love to encompass us, for no other reason save that we are human, for love through which we may all blossom into persons who have gained power over our own lives. We pray to stand upright we fallen, to be healed we sufferers. We pray to break the bonds that keep us from the world of beauty. We pray for opened eyes, we who are blind to our own authentic selves. We pray that we may walk in the garden of a purposeful life, our own powers in touch with the power of the world. Praised be the God whose gift is life, whose cleansing rains that parch men and women flower toward the sun. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh shemcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. Page 54. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished into all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Together, our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt. In our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us together closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha bira na'avod. Let's read together on top of 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Now for our sacred prayer of peace. Let's read together first in English on page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael, ba'shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata Melech Adon v'chol ha-shalom, shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, v'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol eit u'b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, tasim leolam, tasim leolam. We take a moment for our own silent reflections. You can use the words of our prayer books or the words of our own hearts. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are in need of healing, a healing of body, a healing of the spirit. From our own congregation, we think of the following: Kenny Goldstein, Ronnie Golden, Ann Mamie, Shelley Jacobson, Marilee Lewis, Alan Berg, Richard Abrams. For those names that have been said out loud, and for those in our hearts, we turn to page 253 in our prayer books as we sing our prayer of healing, Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. In lieu of a traditional Devar Torah or sermon on our Torah portion this week, I wanted to speak on something a little different, which is the passing of a giant in the Jewish music world, Simon Sargon. His name perhaps isn't as familiar as Debbie Freeman or Dan Nichols, but as we see in our Friday Night Guide, we had some of his music from his Vishamru. As part of our High Holy Days, many of his arrangements sung by our choir with our full ensemble are of his own music. A true giant in the sense. He was the music director for a long time, serving Temple Emmanuel of Dallas, only retiring about 10-15 years ago. He's written music for children's ensembles, reviving in many ways children's choir music. He's written music for all occasions, for Shabbat, for worship, for High Holy Days, for times of mourning, and for times of joy and gathering. And I couldn't think of a better way to offer tribute than to do two settings of his. Not just because I enjoy the pieces and I enjoy the music, and I think you all will as well, but also just as a reflection on the way my own week has been. This week in our congregation, we welcomed a new member into our congregation through conversion to Judaism, and we honored someone's life through a funeral. And so first I want to offer a setting of Adonai Ma'adam, which comes from a combination of Psalms 144, 49, and 37. I'll read first the text in English. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are as a passing shadow. We come and go like grass, in which the morning shoots renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. You cause us to revert to dust, saying, "Return, O mortal creatures." Adonai Madam Vateiraheu Adam ben Enosh Adonai Madam להבל דמה ימיו כצל עובר בבוקר יציץ וחלף לערב תשב אנוש הדקה ותאמר שובו בני אדם שובו בני אדם. You can hear in that particular setting the constant thread of the heartbeat, the gentle pacing, particularly in the piano, our heartbeats as part of our life. But not just do we sing his music necessarily in these difficult sorrow times, but also in times of joy. And getting to participate in the conversion ceremony this week was a big highlight for me. And the text often recited at this ceremony comes from the book of Ruth. The text you can actually find in our prayer book on page 363 if you would like to follow along at the top of the page. The words, "Do not entreat me to leave you, or ask me not to follow you, or ask me not to follow you," leading to the conclusion, "For death, only death, will divide you from me." Al tifkei v'deos veich lashuv me'acharaich lashuv אל אשר תלכי אלך ובאשר תלביני עלי עמך עמי ואלוהיך אלוהי ובאשר תמותי אמות ושם Adonai thee May his memory be for a blessing. We rise, those who are able, for Aleinu L'Shabach at the bottom of page 282. Aleinu L'Shabach La'adon HaKol Latet Gedula Le'otzer Brishit Shelo Asanu Kegoye HaRatzot Velo Samanu Kimishbechot HaAdama Shelo Samechel Keinu Kahem Vigor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam V'anachnu Koreim Umishtachavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar V'aya Adonai L'melech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Ha'u Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad. And you may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who've departed this earth, our loved ones, those we remember at this season, and those whose memories are more near. As I say the name of your beloved, whether you're participating where you're streaming or if you're here in the Gordon Chapel, please rise. We think of the falling deaths recently from our congregation, Edward Friedman and Joel Winograd, and those whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. Rebecca Bernstein, Rosalind Bernstein, Harry Blackman, Sarah Blackman, Mark Sparode, Jean Burke, Albert Hosed, Ralph Cohen, Edwin Ebby, Henry Aaronkrantz, Jonathan Finkelman, Ray Finnerman, Rose Frappert, Nona Friedlander, Marion Goldberg, Harriet Goldstein, Irene Goldstein, Sheldon Goldstein, Zelda Green, Rotem Grossman, Hyman Herman, David Hirsch, Henrietta Hirsch, Leah Jacobson, Edith Kaplan, Harry Kaplan, Leah Lewis Kern, Daniel Cloth, Leslie Kotwitz, Jason Leaf, Eugene Lightman, Max Leon, H. Paul Levy, Morris Lichtenstein, Melvin Lipsitz, Sanford Lukes, Richard Lutz, Yosef Milikovsky, Jane Miller, May Miller, Lillian Mills, Jean H. Moore, Charlotte Nelson, Rena Nimitz, Shirley Rackison Ruths, Ruth Reisman, Harry Robbins, David Rosenberg, Hilda Rosenblatt, Jay Rosenblum, Henry Rosenfield, Adele Sullivan, Leo Shafir, Reuben Scharf, Milton Schatz, Bernice Schnur, Louis Siegel, Matthew Seltzer, Yoha Sharbrubskaya, Irvin M. Schlenker, Adolph B. H. Simon, Harvey Sonner, Bertha Steinberg, Lucille Stern, Marvin Strunk, Carol Taub, Lorand Tritter, Melvin Weber, Charles Weems, Sylvan Conrad Weil Sr., Mary Wolfe, Blossom Zanger, Lillian Ziebenberg. For those who are able, we rise on 294 as together to join all of our mourners recite our Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemeh rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, be'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shemeh rabbah nevarach la'alam ul'almei almaya. Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit Allah, v'yit halal, shemeh dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alama v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Continue with our sanctification as we lead Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. So in terms of announcements, just a note for tomorrow with our Shabbat morning minyan as well as for Torah study, those will be virtual only. And so you can access the Zoom links. I know there's an email that went around. The Thursday email, I believe, had the links for those if you need them. Or you can reach out to me at the service afterward. I can make sure that you have them. I will be leading the Torah study tomorrow, where I will talk about the Torah portion. So you will, in case you really wanted it tonight, tomorrow's your time to enjoy all of that. The office will be closed for this coming Monday in observation of the New Year's Day. And other things. There's a lot coming up in this month, so just stay tuned to all the emails, the bulletin, which just went out virtually as well. A lot of exciting things happening in this new year to come. And to get into it, on page 321 for Adon Olam, you'll recognize the tune very quickly. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ein na'asa v'chefso kol azai melech shmo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hako levato yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu hieh b'tivara, ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni le'habshilo le'achbira, b'li reshit b'li tachlit ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra, ve'hu eli ve'chai go'ali ve'tzur chavli be'et sara, ve'hu nisi umanosli menat kusi b'yom ekra, be'ado afkid ruchi be'et ishan ve'ayira, de'im ruchi offer a special Shabbat Shalom to Rabbi Scott and to Rabbi Lyon, who are enjoying their Shabbat from home. Please rise. With every Jewish new month, or Rosh Chodesh, we say it's like a Rosh Hashanah of sorts. And so there is a blessing that's offered for these new months, which I will adapt for blessing us for this new year to come. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetekadesh alenu et hashana hazot letova ve'livracha v'titen lanu chayim arukim, chayim shel shalom, chayim shel parnasah, chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim, chayim sheyimal'u mish'alot libenu letova. Our God and God of our ancestors, may this new year bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.